A cup quarter-final, a trophy quarter-final, a top 8 finish, getting a playoff spot, knocking out the number 1 seed and going into a semi-final. A successful first season for you?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think we came in here with a plan of just making the playoffs as a matter of course. We struggled for a bit at times, but we came good at the right time, and knocking out the number 1 seed in the first round was fantastic, and giving it a good go against Leicester was all that we can expect for. So really delighted with what we've done. And hopefully we can look to move forward next season.
Going back to the very beginning, before anything really started, what was your expectations and goals of this season?
Well, really, as I say, just to this is a team that coming into a team who hadn't made the playoffs in 6 seasons, so that for me really was the ultimate goal, just to make sure that we gave the wonderful fans of Plymouth to sort of something to cheer about and to make the playoffs. So I think they'd only won 8 games all last season, so we had to put that to bed really, and obviously win enough games to make the playoffs. We're a team that can't win on the road, and we've shown that this year with the right mentality and right mindset, we can go and win on the road. And we've beaten some good teams on the road. So it's just turning the whole culture around, really, the whole belief around the team. And I think we've done that pretty well this year.
And you started the season with a big mix of rookies, ex-Raiders players, and a few from last season. What was your idea behind the team when you started?
Really, just to see how the land laid, really, and look at give a couple of rookies a chance to come in and play, perform. Unfortunately, they didn't perform as we would have liked at the start, and we had to make some changes. And then, you get someone like Rashard comes across your radar, and that's a bit of a no-brainer. And certainly, I think had we have had him from the start of the season, we would have been a top 4 team without question. So. We had to make those changes for the betterment of the team. We made those changes, and we achieved what we need to achieve by making the playoffs.
And you brought Hassan in, like you mentioned, and he had an almost instant impact of a 27-point game against Glasgow, and then went on to be the league's leading average point scorer. How important was he to build on the squad this year?
Huge, massive. Before he came, we didn't have an inside game whatsoever, really, with the best will in the world. We just didn't have that. And, I like to build my teams where we do have outside threats, but also we have an inside option as well. And once he came, we had that. And you saw the way we played certainly changed as well. It's, having that inside presence freed up a lot of scoring opportunities on the perimeter for our guards and our forwards. It just gives another dimension to our game.
You also brought with you your assistant from Worcester this year, in Danny McGee. What was the thought process behind this decision?
Well, Danny's just a fantastic guy. He eats, sleeps, and thinks basketball constantly, really. And I think maybe too much, and I ask him to sort of put it to rest sometimes. But no, he's great as far as analysing things and cutting the videotape up and coming up with theories and pushing and challenging me. It was a no-brainer bringing him here with me, and he's thrived and he's grown in confidence whilst he's been here. The players love him and want to do more and more work with him all the time, and he's always there for them. So, having him here, is a great combination, really, as far as, again, the work he does and the thoughts and the processes he puts to me, as far as the way we potentially should play certain teams. And it's been a great combination, and he's been every part bit of the success this year.
And you started the season with a bit of a mixed opening weekend, a loss against your old club in Worcester, and then a win against what turned out to be the league winners. What were the kind of thoughts after that first weekend?
Well, I just think the league was never going to be won and lost after that first weekend, and as I say, the Worcester game was always going to be a challenging one, and they had probably their best game of the season on that night. But we showed great character to turn around the next, in a couple of days later, to beat, as you say, the London Lions, who end up being the champions, and that was a really tough game. We showed a lot of character there in coming back and winning that game, and it was good for us to get something out of that first weekend. It built a little bit of confidence the way we wanted to play, and it was a solid start for us.
And probably one of the better runs of the season was December, where we went unbeaten in those 4 games, and you picked up Coach of the Month. How crucial was that month to the season?
It was huge, because I thought we started off a bit inconsistent in the way we played. To say the rookies weren't really settling in as much as I would have liked, and so going into that month where we had a period of games where we started to play really well. Rashard came in and things started to click was fantastic, and it certainly boosted our confidence. It helped build our crowds as well at the games. People started to believe in what we could do, and went on to had some really good wins during that month.
And that trickled over into January as well, where you visited the opening night of the Newcastle Arena and you kind of spoilt the party a little bit and taken that win. Was that a big point in the season as well?
It was. I mean, that was a big win for us. I mean, I say, historically, Plymouth haven't been a great team on the road, so to go up there playing the new facility up in Newcastle, which was fantastic, and to come out with a win there was exceptional. I thought we played some great basketball that night, but then after that we kind of stumbled a little bit. We lost to Cheshire the next day. We didn't think that through as well as we might have done, and I think that was a catalyst of us losing a couple of games, being a little bit inconsistent off the back of that.
And yes, it was a bit of a mixed path leading up into those final few weeks of the season. Was the playoffs never a doubt in your mind?
Well, it was always a doubt until we'd actually got there. And obviously, we had a period where we had some injuries. We had to play through that. And I thought, our students came to the fore there and played really well during that period. And every team has their injuries, how you deal with them. So I think we started to play well just at the right time to make the playoffs. Massive win, overtime win against Bristol, which was huge for us. So we had some big games towards the end of the season which we need to win. Coming back from 20 points down to beat the London Royals, huge games, and showed a lot of character and just showed how far we'd come during the season.
And you mentioned that 20-point turnaround against London City Royals. And do you think that really spurred the guys on to plough through those last few games?
Yeah, I think so. I think we already started to show some fight and some real character and how we wanted the team to play, and to the fact that we wanted to play to the bitter end, and not just play a 20-minute game, but to really fight tooth and nail for every point and every possession. And I think that game really sort of typified what we wanted to do, and if we can do that, we could, and we applied ourselves, we could do that to anybody. So I thought it was a great run for us right there, and then obviously going into the playoffs, we had a great playoff series as well.
You also mentioned the Bristol and the Worcester game there, the Bristol one going to overtime. It was quite a crucial part of the season there, fighting for playoffs. What was the message to the team each and every time you stepped onto the court?
Well, we just need to be focused. We need to be really focused and tuned into the game for 40 minutes. I felt that at some stages during the season where we went through those rocky patches, we'd play for 20 minutes and then we'd switch off. So those games, they were must-win games really, and which could add even more pressure to the team. But I thought we handled those situations very well. We stuck to the game plan. I say fantastic win against Bristol in overtime to win that one. Worcester, we hadn't beaten them the two previous games, so to come and sort of destroy them at home was fantastic. And we really wanted to make the playoffs. We didn't want to have another year where we hadn't made the playoffs, or certainly I didn't want that for this club. So to come here in the first season and do that is big for us.
And when your fate had been decided and you picked up that playoff spot, what was the overall feeling around the club and the team?
It's fantastic. It was a matter of achievement, and yes, we'd done that, and now it was a matter of seeing how far we could go in the playoffs. And playing the number one seed, I felt that we'd matched up pretty well with London this year. I thought we had a game plan that could beat them, and I thought we could have played better at home in the first leg against them, and sort of narrowly lost that game by 6. But went into that second leg with a lot of confidence, with a game plan that I thought we could disrupt them and frustrate them, and so we did. So I thought we performed very well, especially in the second leg.
You did go into 6 points down into the copper box. How did you motivate the guys just 24 hours later to take that win?
Well, it's really quite simple. As I say, we'd gone to Glasgow early in the year. We were down by 17 at the half, and we won the game. We'd recently then just gone to London Royals, and we're down by 20, and we came back and won that game. So, as far as I was concerned, it was a two-shot game. 6 points was nothing. 40 minutes to play, and it was surmountable. So we just need to stick to the game plan and hope the ball would roll our way a little bit, and it did. I thought we played an excellent game. I thought the players stuck to their task in winning their individual matchups, and really proud of the guys and what they achieved to get through to the semi-final.
When we moved into the semi-finals there, we had a quick turnaround time of that game, and it was quite difficult for venue hire and stuff, and we saw Newcastle open their arena early in the season. How great would it be to see something like that here in Plymouth?
I think it'd be awesome. I think it's something that is necessary and needed. I feel that after beating London on that bank holiday Monday, we were elated and excited, and then to find out we have to turn around and play on the Wednesday was really disappointing, because really we were setting ourselves up to fail because of lack of venue availability. And to expect the guys to get back early hours Tuesday morning, do a session Tuesday afternoon, and then be ready to play a very tough Leicester team on the Wednesday is just ridiculous. I was disappointed. Really. I was disappointed for the team. I was disappointed for the coaching staff who worked so hard to get to where we were, and then to be dictated upon when we need to play. Didn't feel right, but we made the most of that opportunity. I think we did as best as we could, but having had the proper preparation, I think we could have done a little bit better. So that was the only downside of things, of sort of playoffs and making the semi-final.
We fell short in the kind of the last 10 minutes of the game. After that game, was it a feeling of disappointment or delight in what you'd achieved this year?
I was delighted with what we achieved. I think getting into the O2 would have been a real bonus, but I felt with Leicester, we'd been very, very competitive with them all season long, and you know, we'd matched them tooth and nail, and it's been like 2 or 3 minutes here or there that kind of cost us the games in the league, and even so in the playoffs, I felt that we competed with them for 73, 74 minutes, and the 6 minutes we didn't compete, they you know, they're a good team and they took advantage of that. But I thought we competed very well. You know, we weren't a pushover. We fought and we were right there with them. You know, had we had a couple of calls here or there, it might have been a different story. But you know, it's no great shame to have lost to them. You know, the eventual winners, playoff winners, and you know, as you saw, they won that quite comfortably. So yeah, I thought we did a good job in competing throughout the semi-final.
And moving forward now, we've just announced that Josh Wilshere will be returning next season. How crucial is he going to be next year?
Huge. Josh has been a tremendous player for us this year. I think he's had his probably best season ever in the BBL. Likes the way we play. You know, he's had some input in what we're doing, and he'll have more so next season moving forward. So delighted to have him coming back. Bit of continuity. We know what we're going to get from him, and hopefully we're going to put a solid team around him.
And how is the rest of that squad development going? Have you got a long summer ahead of you?
I don't think it's going to be that long. Hopefully not anyway. I think we know what we want, and we've got the targets we want to get, and hopefully we can get those deals done pretty soon.
And what are the goals are for next season?
Well, just to finish higher than we were this season, for sure. We were 1 game off of 5th, and maybe 2 games off of 4th. So I think certainly the top half of the table should be a goal of ours. We'd like to get to a semi-final of a cup or a trophy. You get to those semi-finals, you give yourself a chance to get into a final. So, but first and foremost, it's always winning enough games to make the playoffs. And obviously, with the whole changing in league format, that's going to be even tougher to do because you can't get off to a slow start. You can't go dropping 3 or 4 games at the beginning and hoping to catch those up. So it's going to be interesting how all those competitions pan out this season.
And a student connection was quite key in a lot of our games, with 3 Marjon uni students progressing into the BBL setup this year. What's the plan with that moving forward, and how important will they be?
Well, I think they were important for us this year, especially went through that period where we had a lot of injuries. I think Tola, Denzel and JP really came through, and they got some good minutes, great experience for them, and they did very well. Now they need to kick on. We've got a long summer ahead of us of getting in the gym and working on some things that they need to be more consistent at, and if they can do that, they're going to be really valuable for the team. So we're looking at just keep on working with them, and hopefully next season they'll come through and give us even more production.
And overall, what are your final feelings on this season and the season ahead?
It's been quick. I can't believe how quick the season has gone. Arrived here and we're straight into it, and just trying to figure out what happens both basically on and off the court, and now we think we've got a figure on that. So now we're just looking forward to sort of put the plans forward, moving forward for next season, and having a bit more structure and doing things a little bit more our way. Now knowing how the land lays, and just going to look forward to enjoying next season. Recruit hopefully a team that's going to be more competitive than we were this season, and hopefully we can do a little bit better than we have done this year.
And on a final note, our fans have been amazing this year. Anything you'd like to say to them?
They've been awesome. I mean, the Bristol game, the Overtime game, fantastic. The London game, fantastic. The playoff game where we had to turn around in 24 hours, and the fact they came out, absolutely awesome. And hopefully we can give them a lot more to cheer about next season.